I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, August the 8th, brought to you in part by Macrocin by Bimeda. Proven efficacy at an affordable upfront price, without the BS. End of story. Go to Macrocin.com and see head-to-head comparisons versus Pioneer products. Joplin Regional Stockyards also, they got 5,000 head here on Monday to start the week. They're going to start around 7 o'clock in the morning, which they like to get started early and get things going before it gets hot. They're going to have a good run, 5,000 head. Like I said, they had a good special cow and bull sale last week on a Wednesday. Had bred heifers up to $1,700. And their cow and bull market was a whole lot better. It's really bounced back here in the last week or so, guys. They had cows and bulls $7 to $12 higher, with high dressing cows up to $99 in Joplin and high dressing bulls up to $121. If you're interested in shopping for or selling some replacement stock, the next special cow and bull sale at Joplin Regional Stockyards will be on September the 14th. What's happened over the last week? It was kind of a whirlwind for me. I was on the road all of last week. I've been gone about 10 days, and still doing the feeder flashes, but I apologize. Some of them probably weren't as good as some of the others that I normally put out, and some of them were done, under duress there and trying to get to different meetings and things like that. But the previous weekend, I started out heading up to the special King of the Ring sale at Winter Livestock in Dodge City. Had a good time there. Visited with a lot of folks and kind of got a good feel of how people are feeling about the market, and they're really excited about the good prices, especially for calves coming into the fall. We know we're selling yearlings really well, and we're expecting the market to be really good for the next 2 years anyway. But everybody very concerned about how we're going to get the fat cattle market where we need to get it to make some of these yearlings work that everybody's really going after right now. But headed up to Omaha, Nebraska, had a DV auction meeting there for 3 days, and got to meet a lot of new reps, video reps that we've hired on in the last year or two that I hadn't got to meet. And if you guys are planning on having a production sale, you need to get a hold of us if you're having one this fall, or it's not too early to get one consigned for this spring coming up, especially video work. If you guys are interested in having us do the videos, because those schedules get tight early. But we had good attendance there at that DV auction meeting. Everybody's really excited. We're a growing company. We grew by leaps and bounds 2 years ago when we went through the pandemic with guys having video sales because they couldn't have a crowd at their place, and a lot of them had never had online bidding at their production sales. But we even grew last year too. After that, we kept those sales and added some more new ones. So did over 1,500 production sales last calendar year at dvauction.com. Nobody can bring more buyers to your bull or heifer replacement sale there. And be sure and think about us and get us in there to do your sale. Came back down to Dodge City, Kansas for the Cattleman's U event. Got to have a nice supper there despite poor wait staff at the country club there at Dodge City. But I had a good visit with my good friend John Campbell, and his wife and his daughter and son-in-law joined us too, and had a nice dinner there. I got to go to the rodeo at Dodge City Roundup, and then over the last 10 days attended 3 different country music concerts, and all 3 of them were very good, with my hero Hank Jr. Topping it off at Durant, Oklahoma on Saturday night. But that was my summer working vacation there, so I hope you guys have gotten a chance to get away for a few days and see some things and open your mind a little bit about what's going on. Also last week, Superior Livestock had their Video Royale in Winnemucca, Nevada, and that's one of their premier sales that they have through the year, and it was a humdinger again. Of course, everything was high. Of course, all your brick and mortar sales are super high too, and they get higher every day. So we expected it to be good. Wanted to talk to you about kind of the bell ringer consignment that I saw. It was the Iron Mountain cattle near Belfouche, South Dakota. They were represented by my buddy Justin Tupper at St. Onge Livestock there, and man, did they have some fancy cattle there. And they had all the programs. They were verified natural. They had the NHTC. They were GAP 4. They were aged and source verified through Angus Link. Every bell and whistle you could put on them. So I'm going to tell you about that stick out deal. The yearling feeder steers to deliver in September, like I said, up at Belfouche, South Dakota. 68 steers to weigh 9 1/4 in September at $2 a pound. Of course, all those programs that go with and everything, and that was a nice premium that those cattle sold at. I thought the calves were even higher. They had 240 head of 450-pound unweaned ball-in calves for November delivery. All the programs went with, but programs on ball-in calves is not that big a deal. You basically just don't do anything to them, and you have third-party verification for your outfit, and you get them on all the bells and whistles. But those cattle are still got to be straightened out. But 240 of those fancy home-raised calves, 450 pounds, November delivery, bring 266 unweaned guys. Now, I know a lot of you guys are getting into those programs, especially the GAP programs. They got nice premiums there. The certified verification on the natural, aged and source. If you have a third-party verification there, that can help. NHTC, 44 Farms. There's a lot of different programs out there that you can get involved in and get some nice premiums. And the premiums are real. You know, people are always saying, well, in cattle, you don't have premiums, you just have discounts. No, they're real premiums. If the same cattle that had no premiums, brought $1.80, then, your yearlings with all the programs could bring $2 a pound. Well, that's a real premium there. Now, I'm going to give some advice, if you guys will take any advice from me, but I'm just going to give you some advice and kind of a warning. Now, whenever you show up for delivery, those outfits that want to buy those cattle, those program cattle, you're going to have some connection there. Well, you can go around or under your marketing agent there, whether it be a video sales rep or a marketing agent that helps put you guys together or whatever. But when you start going direct to those outfits that want to buy those premium cattle and are willing to pay the premiums, and you take out competition, it's going to be just like the fat cattle deal, guys. They're going to say, well, we're giving these good premiums. You don't even have to pay any commission and go through this auction and this competitive bidding process. We'll just buy those cattle in the country, give you a nice premium on those, and you'll like it. That's how it all started in the fat cattle end, guys. Your big corporate feeders, they said, we shouldn't have to compete for space in your packing plant. We've got a lot of cattle here, and I've told you, in the fat cattle arena, the only real premium is volume, and lots of it. So those big packers or big cattle feeding operations, they partnered up with the packers saying, you give us shackle space, you guarantee us that, we'll bring the cattle in there, we'll sell them based off this, we'll sit down and work a little formula deal here, sweetheart deal, and we'll promise all of our cattle to you. Okay, it took out the competition. Then you had a lot of smaller feeding operations that said, well, we're feeding for premium quality, and then packers put their arm around them and said, boy, you're right, your cattle are just so much better than your neighbors and all the other cattle. We want to give you this special program, but you're going to have to promise all those cattle to us so that we'll know what we're getting, and we can guarantee you have space to hang them on our hooks and get in there and we'll give you a special deal. Okay, well, that eliminates competition. So now we're where we are right now. We have so few cattle, especially in the Southern Plains, absolutely in the Southern Plains. We have so few cattle selling negotiated trade that those few that do, have such little leverage that they can't even barter for a fair price. And so then your premium is not what it was because your base price is starting out low. Would you rather have a competitive, robust market, and if your cattle are a little better than somebody else's, let them pay you more for them then? Or do you want to have just a so-so market there with no competition and then get a premium off of it? Well, a lot of guys will say, hell, as long as my cattle are bringing more than everybody else's or more than my neighbor down the road, I'm happy with that. That's not the way to think, guys. We're going to lose our industry if we don't start thinking about competition and keeping it in there. And I'm just warning you guys, keep the competition on those program feeder cattle. And you know, that's how come they bring that kind of a price. You couldn't in good conscience ask those kind of prices that I told you on those Iron Mountain cattle in the country and expect to get those. Those prices were obtained through competitive bidding, and we saw the same thing on your big Western videos, your Northern livestock video, all those. You got to have competition, guys. And we're used to it in the feeder cattle end. Let's don't start going around those auctions, those marketing agents that are working hard for you and to get you top price. Let's talk about your board for last week. August live cattle futures, Monday was up 32, Tuesday down 20, Wednesday was up $1.32, Thursday down 20, and Friday up 17 cents with August live cattle futures ending the week at 137.87. That was $1.42 higher than the previous week. You look out at October, it ended the week at 143.87. That was up 155. You look down the road, April sitting at 157.80. I would be very, very surprised if we get there by next spring. But December of 23 sitting at 158.50. I think it's more likely that we could be at that level by then. But let's look at your feeder cattle for August. Monday was up $1.07, Tuesday down 152, Wednesday up 122, Thursday down 27, and Friday up 45, with August feeder cattle contract settling the week at 179.52. That was 95 cents higher than the previous week, the end of the previous week. September ended at 183.42, up $1.87. Let's talk about your corn. Ended the week through regular trading on Friday at $6.10 a bushel. That was down 10 cents, so we got some help there on feed costs. Soybeans $14.08 3/4, down 59 3/4 cents. Fat cattle trade up through Thursday of last week, we had 81,000 head. That was quite a bit more than we've had the last few weeks, and then we had a little bit more trade on Friday. So you think we had a little bit more volume? Again, maybe the market was a little better, and it was overall. Your northern feeders that still, Iowa still sells half their cattle, in a negotiated, competitive manner, and Nebraska sells, over a third of their cattle that way. So they've still got leverage. They can still sell their cattle, and they can negotiate for better prices. They did that this past week, and they sold more cattle in the Southern Plains who were not even able to keep the market, just a blah market that they had the week before. So we saw that disparaging price from the Southern Plains to the Northern Plains get wider, and you say, well, the cattle up north are better. Yes, they are, but the ones in the Southern Plains aren't that bad, guys. We are seeing a wider span there because it does cost so much to haul those cattle, and so we're not seeing them do quite as much of that. But let's talk about your prices for last week on live steers and heifers. 135 to 147. That was steady to a buck higher. Your weighted average on live steers, 140.13 on the weighted average up through Thursday. That was about a buck higher. Now that sounds pretty good when the best price you could get in the Southern Plains was 136. Your Northern Plains was having to carry a lot to get that weighted average over 140. Dress sales, which are normally or almost all in the Northern Plains, $2 to $3 higher, from 225 to 232, and your dress steer weighted average up through Thursday was 227.65. That was a little over $2, about 2 1/4 cents higher than the previous week. Friday we had a little bit more trade in the northern plains, of course nothing in the southern plains. But Iowa sold 2,100 head confirmed on Friday, almost 29,000 for the week, so that's more normal for them, but still not quite to the level we like to see them. But 143.5 to 147, which is the top price we saw anywhere last week, and that was confirmed on Friday in Iowa. Dress sales 224 to 227. Nebraska about 800 head on Friday, a little over 30,000 for the week. That's a good movement for them. And live sales 143.5 to 145. Dress sales at 226. Kansas, nothing confirmed on Friday, but 14,400 head for the week. Texas, nothing on Friday, but a little over 10,000 for the week. It's kind of what we'd like to see there, but you know, they were sold on a weak market while your northern plains sold on a higher market. Box beef cutout values, your weighted average on all of last week's sales on choice cuts, 267.58 for last week. That was 87 cents lower than the weighted average from the previous week, and your Friday afternoon sales were about $3 lower than that, so on the downside. And of course, we're in the dog days of summer. We don't see your dressed beef market really, spiking during the really dog days. We get towards a little bit closer to the end of the summer, and they'll start doing some more buying for Labor Day and things like that. Select weighted average on all of last week's sales 240.96. That was down 179 from the previous week's weighted average. And your late Friday sales were under 239, so a little over $1 lower than your weighted average, so it's on the downside too. But choice select spread on the weighted average last week was a little under $27, pretty wide, and 579 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV auction ended the week at 175.01. Now that sounds pretty good. $175 based on an 800-pound steer cash. Yeah, but it's still almost $5 discount to what August feeder cattle futures are trading at. But it was $3.21 higher than your real-time index at the end of last week, so gained a little over $3 there. You think, well, where are we at? That's pretty close to what your cash feeder cattle index is in that 175 range. With the cost of gain of about $1.35, which is, you're sure looking at that in the southern plains, $1.35. You give 175 for 800-pound steers, which that is what it's based off of. That's $1,400. 135 on the cost of gain, take them up to 1,400 pounds. That's another $810. That's a break even with these higher inputs of $1.58. Well, December's board is sitting at $1.50. So I guess, can you guarantee yourself an $8 basis to wash? Are the cattle going to perform better than that? Or can you get a cheaper cost of gain? Well, you guys up north can get a cheaper cost of gain, especially if you're doing it yourself, the farmer feeders. Let's say you did the same thing. You bought 175 on an 800-pound steer, and you can't hardly buy northern types for that. And you had a cost of gain of $1.25, $1.25. Doing the same math, that'll break you at 153.5. Like I said, December futures for 22 sitting at 150. So, betting on the come already, guys. And yes, we've got really tight numbers, but I don't know with the drought and all the placements, and the placements, are going to be scary for July when we see those. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to hit gangbusters on the fats this round yet. It may take till the next round, but guys are excited and they're wanting to stay in the market, so guys are keeping their pens full. Your cash feeders last week in your auctions, yearlings sold $2 to $5 fully, and it was very consistent, $2 to $5 higher. Even some of these sales that had the big specials the previous week, they come back with a regular sale and it was still $2 to $5 higher. Now calves more uneven. It's been hot. A lot of balling calves coming to the sales. A lot of lightweight calves, just pulled right off the cow because they've run out of places to run those, and they needed to move their cows and get those calves off of them. So just very uneven. There was places where we had weaned calves sell higher, just like on your videos and things like that. But an uneven calf market, which is pretty typical for this time of year. Look at some of your sales late last week. Fort Scott, Kansas. Look at these loads and bigger I pulled out of their Saturday sale, which is the best Saturday sale bout that we have. But included in these lots here is 61 head, 842 pound steers, bring 175.10. Fort Scott, Kansas, there on the east side of Kansas. How about Lexington Livestock Market, Lexington, Nebraska? Man, they sell them good there and they sell them high. 183 head, 889 pound steers at 189.50. That would be well over what your index levels are. How about Bluegrass Stockyards, Richmond, Kentucky? On Friday out there, they sold 112 head of big, heavy 976 pound steers at 173. You got to put wheels under those guys. But your Zoetis stick-out sale of the day late last week was Burwell Livestock Market on Friday. They had a barn burner there. It's right there on the yellow brick road, and they sell them high up there. And then a lot of those western Iowa farmer feeders like to go out in that direction and buy the best cattle in the world. Well, they included your Mackerson No BS top quote for the day, come out of Burwell Livestock Market on Friday. 167 head, 785 pound steers at 202. That's your feeder flash for Monday.